All right, welcome to the Sharp Mind Show, episode 26. I'm Nate, the FitfutureMD, your host. Make sure you shop at InstaSell.com, pick you up a cool inspirational t-shirt today. All right, so we'll start out with ECU versus Army. And yes, I know I'm not wearing purple today, my bad. But ECU defeats Army 28-6 pretty handedly. Um, Anthony Smith obviously had a big day. 3 receptions, 87 yards. He got the big plays at the beginning of the game that got us out front to a big lead. ECU was up early, so they ran the ball like 50 times, led by Montgomery, Gunn, and Jenkins. Gunn, obviously, with the bigger yards per carry, but so they ran the ball 50 times in this game. It's insane. So ECU improves to 3-2 on the year, 1-0 in conference play. And the big question now becomes, does ECU have what it takes to win the American, right? We're 1-0 in conference play. We're over 500 now, after losing some heartbreakers. But I personally think ECU's got what it takes. They got Hauser, right? They got big playability. Our defense is good and stout. It basically boils down to, can special teams hold down the stuff, right? Like, can't have mistakes, you can't have turnovers, right? So we got big playability from people. So, like I say, I think ECU's got a great chance of winning the American this year. Not sure if the American gets an automatic bid to the dance, but we'll see. But I'm very this is the first year in a while. Definitely feel like ECU is actually a good and competitive team, right? And they've shown that, and I think that hopefully that continues throughout the year. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Does ECU have what it takes to win the American this year? I know there's some good teams in the American, but let me know what you think in the comments below. This episode is brought to you by London and the Googly Goo, which is my wife's children's book. If you have nieces, nephews, or children of your own, pick up a copy of London and the Googly Goo and get you a book with a great moral, a great story. It's available on Amazon. You can also click the link below to get the PDF version for a little bit less. All right, so I got to talk about my show. I got to talk about Big Brother 27. The top 3 is set in Big Brother 27, right? So you got Morgan, Ashley, and Vince holding down their alliance and making it to the top 3, right? With the elimination in the last 2 days of Keanu and Ava, right? Now, the big question of the season is, how did Vince keep backstabbing people and still have them trust him, right? Because, basically, Keanu wins this game handedly if he doesn't trust Vince, right? If he picks somebody else, aligns with them and trusts them, then he has a possibility of winning this game. But I feel like as long as Vince was in this game, he was not, he puts Vince on the block, should have gotten Vince eliminated, but he didn't, right? And I think that's going to be the big mistake. That was the big mistake of his game. He definitely, obviously, Ava just couldn't win anything. So there's really nothing Ava could have done. Ava did probably the best she possibly could have done in this game by not being able to win anything. But the big question now is, so let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. But the big question now is Morgan the lock to win the $750,000 if she's in the seat? Is Morgan the lock to win the $750,000 if she's in the final 2 seats? Obviously, she's the only athlete left. D1 athlete. Like, how do you let a D1 athlete, former D1 athlete, stay in the game? Like, period. Number one. And then, number two, I think even if one of the other two takes her, she still wins the game. Like, she's the reason that these three are there, right? Her relationship with Ashley is the reason she's there. I think, to me, it would be stupid for her. Either. So if Vince wins the final HOH or Morgan wins the final HOH, they'd both be stupid to take each other. But we'll see if he's actually, if Vince continues the backstabbing, right? Because that's basically what he's done the whole game, made promises to both sides of the house and had an alliance and chose the alliance over the other people he was promising to. So let me know what you think of Big Brother 27. Overall, it was a pretty boring season. A lot of crying in this season. Definitely a turn off of the season. Just boo-hooing from the beginning. You've known somebody 7 days. I love you. I miss you. Like 7 days, bro. Like, calm down. But that's Big Brother 27 top 3. Let me know what you guys think of the top 3. Let me know what you guys think of the season. And we'll move on to the next topic. All right, so Sam Darnold leads Seattle over the Arizona Cardinals. All right, let me repeat that for you. Sam Darnold leads the Seahawks over the Arizona Cardinals 23-20. All right. It's basically so here's my question, really, because as being a Panther fan, Sam Darnold was a former Panther. Did the Vikings basically make the same mistake that the Carolina Panthers did by letting Sam Darnold go? They also, they basically had, 2 future quarterbacks on the roster in Carolina, but 18-26, 242 yards and touchdown for Sam. He also ran the ball for 24 yards on a scramble. But, Seattle Seahawks improved to 3-1. But yes, I think that so far the Minnesota Vikings have done the same thing that the Carolina Panthers did, where they let someone go prematurely. But they're making a big move on a young guy, right? So it's interesting to see for sure. But another question is, Kyler Murray basically has a lot of hype, right? He threw the ball 41 times last night. I say it looks like their star running back was out for Arizona, but 41 times throwing the ball for Kyler Murray is kind of a lot, in my opinion. I say the big difference in the game is obviously turnovers, two interceptions for him. But he's basically got sacked a lot too. He got 6 sacks on the game, right? So is this really a Sam Darnold, like Sam Darnold did well and Kyler didn't, or is it really like an offensive line thing? I personally think it's an offensive line thing. But Kyler Murray is also like 5'9", so he's a great player, great athlete, but he's very short. So you can see why he would get sacked a lot, but basically only really had 164 yards because he got sacked so much. whereas Sam Darnold had 229 yards, with his sacks. But basically, this is a defensive battle. It looks like Arizona tried to come back. It was basically a dominant game for Seattle. Arizona tried to come back, but it's probably why Kyler Murray threw so much since they were down big, right? And so let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Arizona's 2-2. Is Kyler Murray basically a bust here in Arizona with the team they've created? Obviously, the big thing was that Marvin Harrison Jr. finally got his touchdown. He had been basically struggling when they were expecting him to be a number one receiver. Especially a lot of fantasy owners. I mean, the people in our fantasy didn't even have him playing. So, that's how you know you've been doing bad, right? So, keep that in mind. So Seahawks beat the Arizona Cardinals, but did, obviously the Seattle Seahawks, they moved on from Geno Smith, and they get a Sam Darnold, a younger player, and it looks like it's working out for them pretty handily. Obviously, Carolina struggled this season so far, but we'll see. We obviously got a win and dominated the Atlanta Falcons, but hopefully that continues in the next game, right? But let me know what you think. Did the Vikings basically do the same thing that Carolina did with Sam Darnold and just blow it, right? Let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, so lastly, we got the quote of the day, right? And it says, "You cannot outwork a belief that doesn't believe in you. You cannot outwork a belief that doesn't believe in you." All right, and we're going to think about that one for a second, because basically this is saying that if you don't believe in yourself, it doesn't matter how hard you work, because you're never going to get better. You're never going to get where you want to go if you don't have belief in yourself, right? So this boils down to a mindset thing, and school basically destroys most people's mindset, right? You get that first C, you get that first B, you think, okay, well, I'm not good enough, I'm not, anything, and you basically have to overcome that mindset, overcome that belief that you can't amount to nothing because you're a C student, right? That's absolutely not true. Like I say, most of the greatest snipers in history were considered ADHD, but they could sit behind the rifle of a scope for 3 hours, right? Waiting on an enemy to get where they were supposed to be. That kind of thing. Like, don't let people label you and just believe it wholeheartedly, right? You see that, so much from parents, from teachers. Oh, he's a talker. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. Can't let these labels define you, right? And so you have to retrain your mindset away from what the world has taught you, right? And you see that now with the pullback from public school system. Like, so many people want to homeschool their kids now because of what they're being taught and how they're being labeled in school, when it's absolutely not true, right? You can be, whatever you believe you can be, right? So we'll start that with mindset. And so how do you change your mindset? You use affirmations, right? So if you don't have affirmations, you can get mine in the description for free, 100% free. I don't even take your name for it. That's how important I think it is, right? You can pick mine up for free. You can change them to what you want them to be. If you need help figuring out your own, you can obviously sign up for life coaching, and we'll get your mind right, okay? But it starts with beliefs, right? So you do these affirmations. You do them when you wake up, at lunchtime, and before you go to bed every day. And if you do that, you will have the mindset, you will have the belief that believes in yourself, right? And that when you work, your work will be meaningful work. Your work will be able to be the success that you want it to be, right? So I'm Nate, and I'm a life coach. If you're looking to set this up, make sure you hit me up for life coaching. Shop at InstaSell.com, pick you up a cool inspirational t-shirt. Use code FitfutureMD for 20% off. Pick up my wife's book if you're interested in London and the New You, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.